Faster by, good afternoon. Welcome to Man in Line on Manx Radio. Your chance to have your say by calling 66 13 68. WhatsApp 166 177, message 166 177, or email studio@manxradio.com. Another route has been temporarily dropped by EasyJet, as well as the Belfast interregnum that we have between the New Year and Easter. Bristol has now been dropped as well. That, thank you, as well as all sorts of other things that are happening on the Isle of Man. Crikey, can you absolutely imagine what's going to happen if any other route goes? Belfast going, Bristol going, what do we do? And the boat is looking in doubt for tomorrow morning as well. That, oh, by the way, ShopRite going, of course, Tesco acquiring ShopRite. They reckoned another 100 in-store jobs will be created. We wait, we watch, and we'll see. Howard's with us now. Hi, Howard.
Hello, Andy. Just watching the television last night, an advert came on late on, and it was something I thought had already been sorted out here on the Isle of Man. It's the organ donation transplants. Now, in England, Scotland and Wales, they opted out. They changed the system whereby if you didn't want to donate organs, you then opted out. You had to do it actually through the services. Beyond that, organ donation became part of life. I agree with it. I've got a donor card myself, and it's the best gift you can ever give to anybody. But I haven't heard very much about it here on the island, where they do say that through your driving licence you could become a donor, but again you have to then register with the NHS in the UK, and you could define which ones you wanted to give, which parts. Excellent service, brilliant. But they've done away with this now, and the Manx government, they put it through the system, and it received royal assent last year. But we've heard very little about it. Has the Isle of Man now got the system, the same as the UK, where you have to opt out of the donation?
And how do you opt out as well? That's the other thing.
Well, I'm on a website here, and it is a government website, and it says changes, and it does give you a number. And they've done away with the actual licenses. They've all been apparently transferred automatically to the NHS. But there's one here, it's to find out more about organ donation or to register your organ donation decision, that word decision, yes or no, it gives you a phone number for it, and it's the NHS organ donation.
Right.
It's I don't know if it's a free number, but it's 0300 123 2323.
Right.
And that would take you through to them, and they would be able to talk you down through it. But there's been very quiet on the Isle of Man government regards the organ donation. And so you only have to go up to Noble's Hospital, as I said to Chris. You see the little garden there, the number of people who have donated organs and given an extra length of life to people. I know there was a friend of mine, he had, over his lifetime, he had 2 kidneys. And unfortunately, it caught up with him. But it gave him 30 years or more extra life. And this is a thing that should be brought up. There's 2. What's that one? Theresa Cope. I wonder whether she'll have any information on it.
Interestingly, well, she's on a week on Monday, so we'll ask her and just to see where this is. But I don't know whether it sits within Cabinet Office or who's organising it, or whether it is Manxcare, but no doubt Theresa will know about that.
Well, there's Kate Lord Brennan. She's in the Cabinet Office.
Yes, of course, yes.
And it says the donation of organs and tissues saves and improves thousands of lives, blah, blah. The hope is that the implementation of the Human Tissue and Organ Donation Act, known as Daniel's Law, will increase the number of available organs to address the shortage in the Isle of Man and the UK. And again, let's have a bit of clarification, because it's a very, very important piece of life. And if people don't know about it, particularly relatives. Let's say I hadn't told my wife. My wife knows. I've got to keep looking for tripwires. But she knows that I want to donate organs. But if I passed away and hadn't told her, it could have caused problems within the family.
Yeah.
And also, apparently, if you pass away while you're across in the UK, you automatically fall into their system of donation.
Right, which is presumably why you need to register with that particular number, because if you want to opt out, that's obviously got to be validated over there if you pass away while you're there.
Well, I filled it in on my driving license many years ago, and I found out afterwards that I had to, or it was recommended, to contact the NHS organ donation section, and I have a card that come from them. Otherwise, it possibly might not have gone through to them, and they wouldn't have known I was willing to donate. But it says here the 66,000 licenses are going to be sent across to the NHS with information on your means of, or you want to, but the opt-out and opt-in. The opt-out now is a critical point where you have to, if you do not believe in this, which is it's a choice.
Okay, well, it would be nice to find out. We'll put the question, Howard. Thanks for that.
Thanks, then. Take care.
Good to hear from you. Thanks for that. And certainly the donation of organs, something that's come on in leaps and bounds since the first heart transplant. I think it was at 1967. Louis Weshkansey and Dr. Christian Barnard in South Africa, and a fine team of heart surgeons around him. Wow. It still remains a miracle to me as an ignoramus where medical matters are concerned, but the fact that you can transplant organs into someone else's body, and as Howard said, transforms, saves lives. So we'll find out just to see where we are with that organ donation plan. Tony B's on now. Hi, Tony.
You're in, Andy.
Good, thanks. Yes.
Good to hear from you. Apparently, I was reading, as I sometimes do. I was reading the Courier actually, and there was a report a while ago, a couple of weeks maybe. I don't get it every week because it never turns up, but it was quite interesting because the chief executive of the steam packet was saying that the reason they got the Manxman was because DOI asked for a bigger vessel. Now, my question is, why is DOI anything to do with buying a vessel by the steam packet? I thought the people in charge of the decisions, or the representative, if you like, of the people, was a Treasury. So what's it got to do with DOI, based on DOI's wonderful history of making wonderful decisions about everything?
I wonder whether it was DOI's advice or whether they had the final say.
That would be a very good question to ask, Andy. I don't expect you'll ever get an answer, but a very good question to ask, because it's cost us a lot of money to buy something that, I'm not saying it's a white elephant, but I am saying it's not necessarily the right vessel, because we all know, as we keep getting told, the weather is going to get worse. It's going to get global warming and we're all going to drown, whatever, but it's going to get worse. It's not going to get better. And this vessel doesn't seem to be able to sail in high southeast winds. It's all right in southwests, but not in southeasts. And that is not something that is very comfortable for me, because it means that we've got a vessel that can only sail a certain percentage of the time in winter, on top of the restrictions it's got on passenger numbers, because obviously we have good weather in the summer always, so we'll be all right then. I just find the whole approach to this has not been taken on a technical basis. It's been taken on a DOI basis, which means pulled out the sky.
It would be nice to know. I mean, I'm not saying they're being obfuscatory or obstructive in any way, but it would just be nice to know, as you say, who made the decision, who decided what goes where, and the fact that they're now retrospectively putting the King Edward Pier where it needs to be for this vessel. I mean, on the other hand, I have to say, we see the Manxman, here every day from Douglas Head. At night time, she looks glorious. She looks like a Christmas tree. She's so big and it's got so many lights. She looks lovely going out to sea. So on that basis, yeah, and also you would have thought they'd know what the wave dynamic and the tidal dynamic of the Irish Sea is. The prevailing wind is southwesterly, isn't it?
Yes, it is, but that's not the point. The point is when you have cyclonic storms coming across the North Atlantic from the US, which is where we get them from, they are always causing changeable winds in the winter, and typically depending on the jet stream. But this is not something we didn't know. We've known this for years. It's not new, and they should have allowed for the fact that the weather is going to get worse, so why have we bought a bigger vessel, which is more like a sailboat, because it's got such a huge side? And don't get me wrong, it's a lovely vessel, I don't disagree, but it's half empty most of the time. So why on earth did we buy a bigger vessel at a very high expense that is not necessarily suitable for winter weather, basically for 2 weeks of the TT, which I suspect is going to see a slow decline in numbers coming.
Yeah.
Pretty strange if you think about it.
Okay.
We've wasted a load of money and basically not got something that's going to be fit for purpose. So I guess we can go back to the guarantee that we've got that with manufacturers that they built the wrong thing, could we?
I don't know. Maybe they'll swap it for a load of Hyundai Getzers or, their people carriers. I'm waiting for them to offer that, by the way. I would have thought as Hyundai built it, that anybody who's got a Hyundai on the island will get free passage, but maybe I'm just whistling.
You're probably just hoping for that. Have you got one yourself?
Only a very old one.
Well, that's it. There you go. You see, it doesn't matter. It will qualify. Don't get me wrong. I don't think the vessel's a bad vessel. I just get very suspicious that we sacrificed the right vessel for something that somebody said to somebody else, which was never recorded, but is in actual fact coming from DOI. And I'm sorry, I don't trust anything DOI suggest, for obvious reasons. And the idea of having to readjust everything because we bought a vessel and they didn't know how big it was going to be, you've got to be kidding me.
Okay, all right.
There's got to be something somewhere that knows the answer, but they won't tell us, I suspect.
Have a good weekend, Tony. Right. Good to hear from you.
You have a good weekend as well, and I hope your Getz keeps going.
Thank you. All right, thanks. I think it's called an I-10 now, or I-20. 12:20. Thank you. And somebody also prompted, when we were talking about the fact that Hyundai built the Manxman, said they've been trying, this is the advertising agency. They said the advertising agency has been trying to get everybody to say Hyundai for 20, 30 years and more. And to this day, everybody still says Hyundai, apart from the people who sell the darn things. Do you say Hyundai or Hyundai? Really? It's worth noting that the first car I think they ever sold in Britain was called a pony. And if you're into Cockney rhyming slang... Anyway... one point to be made about the Manxman. Remember, the steam packet makes the vast majority of its money on freight. So having a big vessel will make sure that they can bring in more freight. Presumably, Tesco are going to be happy about that. Or do you remember a while ago, how long ago was it that somebody tried to set up a rival to the steam packet? And they were hauling stuff off with a crane. And I understand Tesco was going to be one of their clients because Tesco wanted to drive down the cost, as they always do, and it's something we should get used to on the Isle of Man. Tesco they don't get this successful by being generous. They are very, very astute business people, and they drive down their costs. So presumably they're going to be knocking on the steam packet store saying, we've got all this freight to bring in, can you give us a discount? I'm sure we won't hear what those discussions are, but you can rest assured things like that will be happening. But back to the Manxman, majority of money comes from freight. The Bemacree used to make all the money for the steam packet. The Fastcraft, of course, doesn't take that much freight, if any, and is mainly passengers, uses higher grade marine diesel, so costs more to run. So doesn't contribute that much to the bottom line of the steam packet. It does in part, but when the Firecrafts are running quite empty, they're not. They're kind of not at a profit, shall we say? So, but we don't know. I mean, steam packet is not subject to freedom of information requests. We can't find out much about it, although the door is always open, and if they have good stories to tell, by all means, get in touch. Thanks also to the people talking about organ donation. Regarding organ donation, it's in the emergency medical info in an iPhone. There's an option for nothing if you're happy to be an organ donor. That's in the emergency medical info in an iPhone. Of the 100 to be employed by Tesco, how many will be from the UK? Under the guise of no locals with the correct skills and what have you. I wonder if the recent effort by the government to suspend the work permit scheme was to assist Tesco in bringing in some of their employees easier, says Pete. Well, the government didn't know about the Tesco plan, but they wanted to bring that in anyway. It's now been put off to be talked about and possibly introduced next year. But we'll see. This is the story about Tesco saying they're going to introduce 100 new jobs to the Isle of Man by taking over the ShopRite assets. I think the people in PR in Tesco have kind of, if you like, got a come-over mentality. I think we're impressed by 100 jobs on the Isle of Man. And particularly, I'm not saying they're going to be low paid, but they're not going to be the 40, 50, 60, 70-odd thousand pounds a year that get doled out within the e-gaming industry and within the higher echelons of the financial world. So we wait and we watch and we see. I have to tell you, the news team at Manx Radio has been calling Tesco almost on a daily basis, banging on Tesco's enormous PR department in Cheshunt in Hertfordshire, and we have yet to have a response from Tesco. They seemingly don't want to be interviewed about the good news they're about to bring to the Isle of Man. But we'll see. Remember, Tesco, every little helps, even picking up the phone. Eddie's on now. Hi, Eddie.
Hiya, mate. I just heard somebody saying that they're going to extend Edward Pier.
Yeah.
Have they taken into any consideration where all the silt is going to go from the dew and the glass? Because if you extend that pier, it's going to put the silt down into the Croak and into the lifeboat station.
Yeah. That doesn't that naturally sweep out though on an ebb tide?
Well, it's not going. No, well, it won't be able to, will it? Because you've got an extended. If you extend the pier to suit this, whatever you want to call it, what do you call it? It's going to shove it down into there, so you're not going to get the run to shove it out into the bay. I mean, have they done any in-depth survey on this?
Well, they've not told us about it if they have.
And not only that, not only is it going to stop that sweep, it'll also mean that the depth of water between the Edward and the Victoria is also going to be able to get silted up more, because that's going to stop any current at all running across there.
So presumably that's going to need dredging.
Well, it looks as if this new boat is going to cost not 70 million as they told us. It's going to cost us millions all the time just to maintain the harbour so she can come in and out. I can't understand who designed this vessel. Usually when vessels are designed for Irish ports, they're designed for Irish ports. It looks as if this boat has been designed to suit herself, and the ports are supposed to be able to alter themselves for her. It doesn't work that way. I just can't, for the life of me, they went and said they wanted to be able to carry more containers. Now they put all the containers on her, and the tide is wrong. They've got to take some off because she can't get out because she's too deep in the water. The whole context of this vessel seems to be somebody's dream. And she, as you say, she looks absolutely magnificent in the dark with all her lights on and all the rest of it. And the passengers all say what a pleasure it is to be on her. But it's no good if she can't get in and out of the port she's supposed to be serving.
I mean, Dublin have already told us she's not welcomed into Dublin. For some unknown reason. Nobody's came back and told us why.
I think it's the EU regulations about her rescue disembarkation, but the fact she hasn't got life rafts, she's got those slides that go down to the blow-up rafts.
Yeah, and would you like to be trying to get into one of the lone rafts on a Force 10? I don't think I would.
In the dark as well, imagine that.
Yes, yeah.
All right, Eddie.
Okay, mate, all the best to you now.
All the best, thanks, good to hear from you. I agree with what Tony said, says Paul. But the other question that needs to be asked is, where are the TT fans going to go outside? The Manxman outside is a third of what the Ben McCree had. There's just not that much space. Text, email, call and WhatsApp if you've got something to say on any subject today. If it wasn't for Tesco and their low prices, far more families would be needing food banks, says 958. Perhaps Tesco could hire from the hotels in England. A lot of working aged males eager to enter our society, says Terry. Do you think so, Terry? Also, I agree with Tony. Again, things about the Manxman that we're just not being told, says Texter 466. Why, with new technology, does the crossing time take 3 3/4 hours? Surely it should have been a stipulation that the engines be capable of doing a crossing quicker, says Mary. I think she's capable of going faster than the Ben. If you think the boat's got problems now, wait until the Irish Sea is full of obstructions. Offshore wind farms and building them. Expect more delays in the future, says Kevin. They called it a white elephant when they made the new boat, and their staff had to work on it, called it the Big White, apparently, in Korea. Is that right, Gary? You got contacts. I know a lot of them. Believe the man who had most of the say about the boat has jumped ship and is working somewhere else in the world. I wonder why, says Gary. Thanks for getting in touch today. The story about organ transplants brings into mind the fact that last Saturday there was a service of remembrance hosted by a Manx organisation which hopes to educate people about organ donation. It was last Saturday. As many as 230 children across the British Isles are awaiting a life-saving transplant. People whose lives have been affected by organ donation on the Isle of Man attended the service to light a candle and to speak to others about their experience. Did you go? It was at St George's in Douglas, 2:30 last Saturday. An organ donation, it's called organ donation, but strictly speaking, body tissue can be donated as well. I talk from personal experience. I had a very good friend who passed away a few years ago and was very vehement about wanting to donate everything and everything if he could. His femurs, you know, the large bone at the top of your leg, the biggest bone in the body, his femurs, he donated his femurs. And apparently the bone is ground up and it's used to help with hip replacements. Didn't know that. And also his wife told me that his heart, which he donated, went to a children's hospital in England and went to 12 babies. Just one heart, one adult heart, helped with 12 operations for babies who had heart problems. Diane Taylor, who organised the service last Saturday, her son Daniel was a donor, and Daniel says there is still a shortage.
That's a lot of children that are obviously having to be, in hospital a lot and looked after and not living the normal, happy, healthy lives that they should be. As we know, it's been in the news recently. We've had a little girl from the island that's just had her second heart transplant and a little boy who's just received a kidney. Those are children from the Isle of Man. So I don't know why, but we generally think, it doesn't happen, on the Isle of Man. But there are children over here that are still waiting for these life-saving transplants.
Last time we spoke was actually this time last year. You said talking about organ donation is going to become a more natural subject. In the 12 months between us last speaking. Do you feel that there's been improvements to the level of openness and willingness to talk about it?
Yes, definitely. When we did the organ donation week in September, we had a stand outside Boots, and we got a lot more people that felt comfortable actually coming up and speaking to us. You know, in previous years, they've seen what it's about and sort of hurried off, and more people were stopping and asking questions. It's still, obviously, it's a difficult subject, but I would say that people are more open now to talking and thinking about it.
That was Diane Taylor. Were you at that service last Saturday at St George's Church? Basically to find out more, to educate people about what organ donation means. Thanks to WhatsApp at 805, said Andy, watch the documentary about the Costa Concordia disaster, and then you'll realise why the Manxman doesn't have life rafts. I certainly shall.
It's good to talk. It's how we get things done. So when you apply for a personal loan from Black Horse, you'll get support from one of our relationship managers who's there to talk you through your application. You could borrow up to £50,000 with up to 7 years to pay it back, and you could receive your money within 24 hours of approval. Ready to talk? Go to blackhorseoffshore.co.uk to request a call back today. Finance subject to status. Applicants must be 18 or over.
Your home is your castle, and we think that too. So when you're thinking of new flooring, think Castle Carpets. With over 50 rolls of stock and thousands of samples to choose from, let us carpet your castle. Call 842 480 or visit the showroom in Peel.
Walk through the northern lights into a land of ice and snow at Ramsey Garden Centre. Indoor and outdoor lights, a magical range of real and artificial trees, decorations, gifts and much more. Christmas at Ramsey Garden Centre, Albert Road.
Just Care Products for mobility solutions.
Visit Just Care Products right behind B&Q and see our wide range of mobility aids, from small everyday items to rise recline chairs, beds, scooters and our airline-friendly foldable power chair. Plus, we are the island's only stockists of cosy feet footwear. Just Care Products right behind B&Q.
Just Care Products 627 177.
Unwrap the ultimate Apple bundle this Christmas with Shaw. Get all your favourites this festive season for £39 per month. Our great value offer includes the iPhone SE, iPad and Apple Watch. Get yours today. Visit us in-store or online at shaw.com. T's and C's apply.
After 2 disappointing results on home soil, another chance to return to better ways is up for grabs for FC Isle of Man this weekend. The Ravens are back at the bowl to welcome Barnoldswick Town this Saturday, with just 1 point separating both sides going into this clash. Join me, Rob Pritchard and Tony Mepham for FC Isle of Man versus Barnoldswick Town, kicking off this Saturday at 6 p.m. Manx Radio will be providing full live match commentary on our DAB and AM 1368 channels. Live coverage of FC Isle of Man on Manx Radio is supported by Selton, investing in our community.
The Man in Line with Andy Wint.
25 minutes now before 1 on Manx Radio. WhatsApp at 930. Is that right? Human heart pacemakers can be used in dogs. You can have the pacemaker brought to a vet of your choice. Is it true that dogs with heart problems can have used human heart pacemakers? Well, it's certainly been tried in America. Whether or not it happens here, but I didn't know that. If you're of the veterinary persuasion or you know about this, is it true? Apparently, if a dog weighs more than 3 kilograms, they're able to undergo a procedure known as a transvenous pacemaker implantation. Under this procedure, the surgeon puts the battery under the muscle in the side of the neck, and the lead extends through a jugular vein to the right side of the heart. I didn't know that. Is that true? And Andrew's on now. Hi, Andrew.
Hi there. Good day to you and listeners. Manx Gas or Isle of Man Energy. You had a caller yesterday, I think it was, who was told go to the post office to pay.
He went to the post office. He was having trouble paying over the phone, I think.
Yeah. Well, similar situation. I got a final reminder letter dated the 26th of November. Your outstanding balance is £27.70. Okay. And I'm thinking, no, I don't think so. So I went online, logged on, pulled it up. The invoice, the bill, is dated the 21st of November, right? Let's think about that. The bill is dated the 21st of November, and it's for £187.07. And I've had a final reminder letter dated the 28th of November for £27.70.
That's very impressive. They can do time travel.
So I went online to pay the £187.07, put my customer number in, and this invoice for £187.07, and clicked, and it says, those details do not match our records with my Manx Gas account number. So I sent an email to them yesterday. Dear Isle of Man Energy, I have received a new statement of account dated the 21st of November for £187.07. I've tried to pay online, but your inept system says my customer account number does not match your records. Stop. You need to ensure your inept system does so, and then you need to email me back to confirm I can then make payment online of £187.07. Please, do you understand the requirements of this email? ? Reply came in this morning at 09:42. Hi, Andrew. And this is what it says. We are aware that there is an issue with the online payment system for some customers, which we are looking into. Well, yeah, we know what happens if you look into a hole in the road. So, alternatively, payments can be made via bank transfer using the details below, and then it quotes their bank account number, details, sort code. Kind regards, Natalie Marshall, Customer Services, Ireland's Energy Group. So, yes, basically, it is an inept system they're using.
What was the address? Where did the letter come from?
Where's the letter come from?
Yeah, has it come from the Isle of Man?
It's Isle of Man Energy, and I've no idea where it was posted from because I haven't got the envelope now.
Right, okay. I'm just wondering where that's coming from.
It has on it Murdoch House, South Quay, but right, okay. Who knows where it was posted from.
Well, we wouldn't know now because they don't open the door, do they?
Exactly. But I mean, as I said, the 26th of November, a final reminder for £27.70. And yet the actual bill is only dated the 21st of November, so they're sending us a final reminder out 7 days later, but this final reminder isn't even for the right amount.
Maybe they don't need the money, Andrew.
Well, I'm just leaving it now. I'm just leaving it.
Okay.
Wait, I might check back, and if I can't do it online, I don't see why I should have to go and set up a banking payment when I could just click online to do it.
It's just interesting. I mean, in this equation, you are the customer, aren't you? You are the person who is always right. I mean, the customer is always right.
Correct, yes. But, I mean, I think at some point they'll run out of money. And when people actually do cancel a direct debit and set up a standing order, then they'll just run out of money. I'd be interested to know how much, if anything, they owe Isle of Man government for NI contributions, for example.
Oh, well, that would be interesting. Well, apparently, regarding the stuff they purchase, I mean, their payments for the gas that they get from Manx Utilities are going through now. They were behind before, but apparently they got a payment plan. And so that's a payment
plan.
Yeah.
Ah, right, a payment plan. So that's like having a payment plan to pay off a debt.
Well,
where you're paying. So, hey, what their cash flow, cash situation is would be very interesting indeed.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Andrew.
Jolly good. Thanks now. Have a good weekend.
You too as well. 19 minutes to 1 on Max Radio. With so many experts, says 284, on shipbuilding and pier construction, it baffles me why the government don't use them instead of getting specialist companies in. Our direct debit with Manx Gas was increased from £110 a month to £370 per month with no prior notification. Surely this is against the law. I've cancelled the direct debit, 110 to 370. Presumably you weren't using over 3 times as much gas. Do not, says Reg on 505, do not allow the steam packet to sell the Ben McCree, says Reg. Well, it's their company now, isn't it? They run it as a private company, arm's length, and they also have to run it as they see fit. Do we think we have any say regarding the Ben McCree? I mean, they probably say it's an asset that's very realisable, bearing in mind that Caledonia McBrain, I think, the Scottish company, who were way behind with their ferries and way over budget with their ferries, they need a vessel, and the Ben McCree is a very reliable vessel, extremely reliable, as we've seen in the past 25 odd years. And she would realise some money, and that would go straight through to the bottom line. Of course, there is a loan being taken out to pay £78 odd million for, or part of it, for the new boat. And Steam Packet is profitable. It is a very profitable company, a cash cow. It was a cash cow to all the private companies that owned it before. Now it's our cash cow. It's putting money to the bottom line. And if that includes selling the Ben McCree, do you think that's the right thing to do? It seems the Manxman may have been fitted with large cabins and balconies because longer sailings will effectively be mini cruisers, says G. That's the way to market them, mini cruisers. We should be grateful for Tesco for securing 600 jobs. Not about the net drop in head office staff, says Rich. Well, presumably that's what will happen, is that all the people at Centre House, isn't it, at ShopRite on Victoria Road, presumably that's all going to disappear, and Tesco will run it the way that they run everything else. But we'll see what happens, and obviously now it's ShopRite is going with Ramsey Bakery disappearing, with ShopRite going. Who knows how many other small pieces of the Isle of Man will fall off. I haven't spoken to anybody who found the Manxman enjoyable to sail on. The vibration is awful, says 068. Thanks also to Desmond, who just said, just thought, could it be the lack of skill by the present staff? They come through the ranks that quickly. They don't get enough hands-on training by well-experienced people. Tesco's 100 jobs, are they replacing the ShopRite staff? And have you heard of narrowing a gap of waterway increases the pressure, hence silt will be carried out further, says Desmond. Is that so? If you narrow a gap of water, it does move quicker. Will that carry the silt out, though? We'll find out, won't we? Yes, more than 100 jobs, say Tesco. They sent us a media release, so they tell us. They haven't spoken to us yet, by the way. And us being a radio station, we do work on voices rather than pieces of paper, if you're listening from Tesco's PR agency. More than 100 jobs are set to be created following the sale of ShopRite stores on the Isle of Man to Tesco. 9 new Tesco stores will be created on the Isle of Man. While many ShopRite colleagues have transferred to Tesco, there'll be an additional 107 vacancies in store. And the current suppliers in Tesco stores from the Isle of Man are Isle of Man Meats, Isle of Man Creamery, Laxey Glen Mills Flour, Gourmet Foods, Stuart Allenson Produce, and Devereux and Sons. At the moment, they supply. It's interesting to point out, by the way, that Isle of Man Creamery also make Tesco own brand Isle of Man butter, which is sold in 65 stores throughout the UK. So the creamery gets a lot of purchase, as it were, through Tesco. We'll wait and we'll see what happens to the old ShopRite stores. I just wonder how you feel, if you like, inside about the fact that we won't see that sign saying ShopRite. It's been around for 50-odd years, and we won't see the sign saying ShopRite anymore. Do you remember Manx to the Max? Clubman cards? the Triskelion on there. Sadly, it's going.
There's a new way to Subway with 2 fantastic menus. Which will you go for? The all-new Subway series with 15 irresistible creations like the Big Bombay Sub, Great Goddess Salad, Emperor Wrap and Big Cheesesteak Sub Melt. Or create your own. You pick the ingredients you want and build your own sub, salad or wrap the way you want it. There's a great mix of healthy and indulgent menu items available from Subway and ShopRite, Peel and Port Erin.
Gift a gadget to your nana, fa la 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 la.
This Christmas, unwrap the gift of endless possibilities when you buy any smartphone with a Smart Unlimited plan over 36 months from Manx Telecom. And bag yourself a free gift worth up to £299. That's one gift for you and one for Nana. Tech the halls this Christmas with Manx Telecom. Terms and conditions apply. Visit mt.im/Christmas for details.
Hello, I'd like to rent a car for 3 days. Just something reasonable.
No problem at all. We've just got a few rules to make you aware of. You can't go off island, you can't smile in the car, you can't take any friends, it's £10,000 a day, and you'll need £1 million deposit up front. Any questions?
Renting a car doesn't need to be so difficult or expensive. With prices from just £50 per day, speak to Rex Rental Company or book online at rexrental.im.
Rex Rentals. I'm so glad to hear that.
It's so easy to get home safely this festive season with Bus Van In. Visit busvanin.im for Christmas and New Year timetables, including buses departing Douglas for Ramsey, Peel, Naxey and Port Erin at midnight on Friday and Saturday nights throughout December, along with comprehensive services running back to Douglas. For full times and details of late night, early morning and daytime buses across Christmas, including New Year's Eve, visit busvanin.im. Enjoy a safe, hassle-free festive season of travel with Bus Van In.
Manx Radio and Orchard Recruitment are playing Santa this Christmas, so get your business on our nice list. From Monday, the elves will be out delivering festive cheer and delicious mince pies to workplaces across the island. Nominate your company or department at manxradio.com and we could be sliding down your chimney. Workplace mince pies with your nation station Manx Radio and Orchard Recruitment. A refreshing change.
The Man in Line. Daily interaction, debate and exchange of ideas. Broadcast on Manx Radio from midday till 1, Monday to Friday.
It's 11 minutes before 1 on Manx Radio. Thanks to the same old arguments about Manxmen were there in 1998 with Ben McCree. We should leave them alone to get on with sorting it out with the designer and manufacturer, which wasn't the DOI, says 428. Thank you, 428. There is one difference, really, between 1998 and nowadays, is that in 1998, Jim Sherwood Sea Containers owned the Isle of Man steam packet. Now we own it. So presumably, if we own it, we're allowed an opinion. Perhaps we're even allowed questions. Sarah's on now. Hi, Sarah.
Hello, good morning. It's just a thought that I have got quite a number of unwanted, unused gifts, over the past. And I'm wondering if there's any charities who need, like Gryer and other ones, not charity shops, but charities who have collections where they give out presents at Christmas. And I wondered if there was anybody out there that could make use of these unwanted new gifts.
When you say, they're new gifts, are they?
It's all new, yes.
Oh, wow. How many have you got?
Well, probably about 6, 8, maybe a few more. I might be able to rustle up a few more.
Okay.
But I keep thinking it's such a shame they're sitting in a box where somebody could be having the benefit.
What are they?
Well, ladies' cosmetics. There's a vanity bag which is very, very nice, very elaborate. All sorts of things that you get at Christmas, which make gifts.
Okay. Do you want to give your telephone number out if anybody wants to call you?
No, I spoke to your receptionist, and if they ring you, then your receptionist will contact me.
Oh, okay, jolly good. So you've got unwanted Christmas gifts which you're happy to gift to charities.
Well, yes, they're not necessarily Christmas, they're birthdays, different things that you get through the year, and you don't want them and you don't use them, but they're sat in a box in my room at home, and I just think it could be better used.
Jolly good. So you're decluttering and helping a charity. That sounds like a good idea.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Sarah.
My life.
All right.
All right then.
Thanks for calling today. If you think you can use some of Sarah's unwanted Christmas gifts, then get in touch with us. Drop an email to maninline@manxradio.com or give us a call right now if you want and get in touch. It's Stephen on now. Hi, Stephen.
Hi, Andy. Briefly, just listening to the comments about the King Edward Pier, I think people have got the wrong end of the stick to a certain extent. The King Edward Pier is not being extended. What is actually happening is they are putting two large piles in just seaward of it. One of them is going to be a mooring pile for what's called a mooring dolphin for the Manxman, and the other is going to be a fender pile to assist it when it's berthing. But the pier isn't getting extended, definitely. If you look at the plans that are published by the DOI, they might be a little difficult to interpret in fairness if you're not used to those things, but it's definitely not getting extended.
And what are the dolphins there for?
Well, the dolphins, there are two dolphins. One of them, which will be over on the north side of the Edward Pier, will basically be a fender for the ship to lie on when she's turning and berthing. And the other dolphin, which will be towards the south side of the pier, they'll only be sticking out about 11 metres past the pier, but they won't be solid. They won't be extending the pier solidly, if you see what I mean. And that is simply to get a better lead in the winter for the ship's mooring ropes, because the ship is slightly bigger.
Okay, all right. Appreciate that clarification.
Yep.
Thank you. All right, good to hear from you. Paul dropped a note in to said, I'm led to believe the steam packet past and present staff get a massive reduced costing to travel and don't have to pay a penny. I'm hoping somebody can shed light on this, either to confirm or deny it. Maybe they don't have to answer any freedom of information requests. This was put the other day. Historically, employees of the steam packet always got a hefty discount on travel, I think, and certainly I think they got some train travel at the time when they used to be able to do sail and rail with Virgin Trains. There was that. So don't really know at the moment. I mean, it's something we can ask. No doubt steam packet employees would want to share that with us, but it's just, I think it's just part of their terms of employment, but we don't quite know what it is. The vessel purchase, says 428, has always been part of the user agreement. Which vessel purchase? Was this the Manxman or the sale of the steam packet? Anyway, yes, the vessel purchase. Can I just say what a wonderful job the road sweeper in Port St Mary's just done, especially the High Street. It hasn't been swept for years, says Mike, but now it's lovely. Did they go round the potholes, Mike? That's the important thing. Thanks also to a note in from Dave on 001. I thought Mr. Cannon was trying to improve links between the Isle of Man and Ireland. No flights to Belfast in January and February. Many vital service workers commute on this route regularly. Surely action's required before the decline becomes terminal. What's the government going to do about it? Any MHK seem to be interested in this? Here's a note in also from Colin, who just says apparently the island of Jersey have paid for their own mail flight. Obviously, our airmail has gone, and now it's on the boat, and obviously with the boat not going for 24 hours, there's kind of hell to pay, really, with a lot of the mail, particularly urgent mail, legal mail, for some of the advocates, and in the finance industry, it's just not been happening for that time, and certainly anybody running a mail order business is having a heck of a time with this. Do you think it's time to look at it again? Now, bearing in mind that the Channel Islands government, Guernsey, owns Aurigny Air, so maybe they're sending their post on that. But it's just a thought, bearing in mind that we've lost the Bristol flights now until the spring. We've lost the Belfast flights now as well. A note in from Beach Buddies. Beaches in the north are in line for a major clean this weekend. I hope it's going to go ahead because of the weather, but at the moment apparently it is. Beach Buddies holding a volunteer event on Sunday morning from 10:30 at Blue Point. So if you want to make your way to the north to Blue Point, the storms will be throwing a heck of amount of rubbish up onto the beaches, so we wish them well. Thanks also to the many people who got in touch to say, is it true there is actually a woman called Maureen Dolphin in the Department of Infrastructure? No, it's a marine dolphin. There is nobody called Maureen Dolphin at the Department of Infrastructure. I don't know, there might be. If you want to get in touch with Man in Line out of hours, because we're about to go off the air, call the answer phone on 682-631. You can email maninline@manxradio.com. We'd love to hear from you. And remember to write out 1,000 times, gross tonnage is a measure of volume, not weight. Thanks to the person who sent me the link, by the way, to the ship registry, so I can educate myself on gross tonnage. Filled a lovely hour last night. Thanks to Chris Quirk on the phone today. Enjoy your weekend.
W